All right, so this is Houdini. I'm using 17. Y'all are using 19. So there might be something that looks a little different. If there is, just say something about it. I have to use this version for a project. So anyway, but a lot of stuff is still the same. So it shouldn't be any hits, you know. I mean, it shouldn't be any negatives from this. So if I right click and I go to well, all right, well, basically let me show you, explain to you what's happening here. So just like in Maya, we have X, Y, and Z. So this one right here is X, and this is positive X because we can see there's a little X right there. Same thing as this down here. So we have our Snowman. I think Maya's is over here. I think it is. Actually, let me see. Nope, I was wrong. Maya's is down in the bottom left too. It just doesn't have the colors. So anyway, as you can see, X is now to the right. And then Z is also to the right. Also, something cool right now, I'm navigating with just using my mouse. I'm not using Alt or anything. You can use Alt and you will use Alt, but if you click on this little camera right here, you can get into this mode where I'm just right clicking and zooming, left clicking and rotating, and middle clicking and tumbling. So it can be kind of nice sometimes, just so you know. But this functionality goes away if this isn't checked. So if I click on this or something else, now it's just back to, you know, regular screen. Anyway, so you all know that X, Y, and Z, that's how we operate within the world. And we can see it down here. Now, my all the shapes and stuff are at the top, and then it has some tools. With this has a few shapes, but instead of activating the tools by us um it's instead of acting us getting the tools from up here, we're gonna just make our tools by using a tab menu or pressing right click. And I'll do that in a moment. But anyway, so you don't go over here and go to create or anything like that. Um, it's all in a node menu. So yeah, we have model, modify, and a bunch of other stuff that you could click up here, but like I said, it's easier just to create it in the node view. And I'll go into that in a moment. Over here are lights and cameras. So just like we have Arnold lights, we have area lights, we have dome lights and all that stuff that's up here. And then it's got some other things for like dynamic stuff, so making things move and water and things like that. But these things over here create more than one thing. It'll create like a little network. And what a network is a collection of nodes. Um, but like I said, it's we'll be making some of these things. So don't worry about any of this stuff really. The times you might need this shelf, you might just use the light stuff and maybe a couple of shapes over here. Now, speaking of these shapes, let's go make one right now. Right. If I want to create a cube, well, I guess there's 3 ways to do it. You can click on the cube, and if I just click on it, it gives me this thing where I can like move around, place it wherever, and I can just place it somewhere, which can be okay, you know. It's not necessarily in the center of the world because we see this right here. And these are our transforms. So basically, this is how Houdini works, right? We have these things called nodes, and this is our node area, right? And so what nodes are basically it's like a container or like a folder, right? Right now this says box object, and because it's a box, right? And so this is the container, right? So this is like a folder. So to think about this would be like I don't even know any like a good analogy for it. All I can do is say like a giant Tupperware container that's clear, you can't see it, right? Well, anyway, we just created this by clicking on this node right here. So I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna select this and just press delete. Now I just clicked it and placed it anywhere. That's how I did it this time. But if I just hold down Control and I left click, then it puts it perfectly in the center of the world, which is most likely what we like. All right, so we have a box. Now let's make another shape. So I'll make a sphere. I'll just do Control click. And okay, we now have a sphere. We have a box object and we have a sphere object. All right. Now, on these nodes right here, there are these blue flags right here, and these are display flags. This green one, I don't know what's up with that. I just know that the blue one is visibility. It has an eyeball that basically says display, so it's saying, hey, this is what we seeing. Both of them have it. And I is information. So if I click on that, it'll tell me, oh, the display is a sphere, we're rendering a sphere, there's no constraints. None of this stuff really matters for this area right now. So there's two things. There's highlighting a box, and then there's displaying the box. So right now, if I want to turn off the display, I'll click on this. Now we don't see it at all, right? So this is visibility for whatever is inside of the folder, right? So if I go to the sphere, same thing. It's visibility on, visibility off. All right. Now let's do this. So I'm gonna turn off the visibility for the sphere. I'm gonna turn it on for the box. Now, right now, I'm gonna go inside of this box. I'm gonna double click. And now look, I have a box object, right? Now this is called box, and this is called box object, right? And the only thing is, this is just a container and it says geometry on it. So that means that actually anything can go inside of here. So let me show you what I mean. So right now we have our box, and this is what is within the object. Now, also right here, there's translate and there's rotate and there's scale. And all this stuff is basically like manipulating whatever we have inside of here. So let me just go inside of here and start manipulating this box. Now this box right here, it has these areas. So this right here is like a scale. You don't really scale with that. You would just click on the front of this face. So this is like our scale, but instead of having that manipulator, we're just moving it with these little boxes. So if you just have your mouse on it, you can just click it and move. Now it also has, and that's, you get to this by using this tool right here. This is I guess a manipulator handle. So now I can move it, and rotating it, if I wanted to rotate it, I can just click on this for rotate. And now I can rotate this box. Now let's look at some of these parameters on this box. Right here, as always, you already know what it is. X, Y, and Z, 3 numbers, right? So this, oh yeah, to access this, so let's say at X, right? I want to have this be 1. I could just highlight it and just type in 1. And I can do that to all these, 1, 1, right? But let's say I just want to put it all at 1, or 1 is the default size. So if I right click on this and I go to revert to defaults, it'll put me at 1. Also, I'm gonna do Control Z. If I just wanted X to revert to default, I can just right click, and then go to revert to defaults. So now this is 1. And if you do like this, it'll do all 3 at once, right? All 3 axes. Also, we have something cool, and this is why you need the mouse. There's a little manipulator handle for the ladder, right? So I just middle mouse button click on this and just scale up. I can scale down. And if you look at the numbers, right here is 1. So it's bigger increments. Right here is 10. And then we even have 100. So yeah, we have that. And we have negative numbers, which we don't want. So we can just push that back up to this. So when you see this right here that says center, all this means is okay, so this is the scale. So the size, like the scale. Center is like where it is in the world. So okay, so if it's 10 and X, and as we can see, look at these numbers, right? And I'll press oh yeah, to see wireframe, you just press W. And you press W again for solid. So that's how you toggle from wireframe to solid. And also if you go up here, you can see it as well. Wireframe, and then we can go to smooth wire shaded or something. Cool. So we see center right there is 10, and then we do -10. So we can see how that works, which is pretty regular. Now let's go to okay, yeah, size. I mean center. Yeah. So we're moving within the world by using these handles. Now also if we want to use like our controls, it's I think in Maya it's W, E, and R to move. And this one it is E. Oh, wait, let me make sure. I forget sometimes. It's not right. I'm sorry, it's R for rotate, T for, all right, it's W, it's T for move. Usually I just use this manipulator tool, but if you wanted to do it solo, we can just click on R for rotate. Move is T, and the scale is E. That's what it was. I was messing up on. Yeah, so that's how we would manipulate this object. So you highlight it, but mainly just click on this tool right here, and we'll get this. And if you need to rotate, you can go over here and rotate. Or you can just click on this and rotate as well. All right, cool. And you know what else is cool about this program? Like, check this out, right? So this is rotate right here, this one. So I can do something called $FF. And what it'll do is, and if you do something like this and then you click right here, it'll show you like basically what the expression is doing. So saying, so what it is doing is saying, oh, $FF functional frame. That's what it means. So one is the frame. I mean, one is the frame, right? So if I click right here, it's saying 1. And if I put it on 24, it's saying, oh, it's on frame 24. So with this little expression. And so it's just kind of matching the number of the frame with here. Anyway, that's just a little something cool you can do. And if you ever want to get rid of something like that, or you accidentally type in something and turn to green, just right click and then go to where is it? Delete channels. And so it goes back to normal. All right. So we have our box object in here, and if we click inside, this is called a Polygon Mesh. So if I go over here to axis divisions, what's it gonna do? It's gonna give us some edge loops, you know what I'm saying? Like segments, kind of like in Cinema 4D or edge loops in Maya. So it's divisions along the X, the Y, so up and down, and this. All right. Cool. So we see what it's doing. Now, also, we have this thing called center. So wherever in the world it is, it's going to reflect off the center. And there are also different types of boxes, right? So this one, Polygon, this is just a regular box. It has no segments with it. So you wouldn't be modeling with it. And then I'm not sure the difference between the mesh and the polygon mesh. There might not even be a difference. Yeah, I don't think there is. So yeah, so when it's on mesh, that means that you can model with it. Polygon just means it's the shape. So just keep that in mind. If you can't add divisions, then you can't really model from it. I mean, you could place it somewhere, like place it like a block, like a floor or wall, but you can't model it. Can't manipulate the vertices, edges, and faces. Okay, so we have this now. So let me show you something, right? So this is our box. We can see it's highlighted. And I'm just going to keep it at 0. There's no reason to move it because if I really wanted to move it, I would just go inside of here and I would move it. So there's no reason to go into this and be like, hey, I'm going to move the whole thing. So try to keep that its default shape and just move what's inside of here. Now, like I said before, this is called geometry, right? And this one's called geometry. So it's like an automatic setting up and saying, hey, you know, I want a box, I want a cube, and it'll label this as whatever object and put the object on the end, and then the object goes inside. So right now we have a sphere, right? So we had this sphere, and let's mess with the sphere a little bit, right? So we have radius, X, Y, and Z, so we could stretch it. If we want to, we can grab the manipulator handle and stretch it. Stretch it up and down, or we can grab the handle up and down. The center is moving it in the world, remember? And then rotate, you know, you can see it rotate. And like I said, always, we can always click over here too and get these manipulator handles as well. And uniform scale scales it uniformly, no matter what it looks like. Okay, great. All right, and we have segments here, right? So we have our rows. You see, we can make it super primitive. And then, you know, if I wanted to take it back to defaults, just go to default. Because guess what? I don't even remember what I changed it from. Great. Now, if I went to primitive, look at what it's doing. It just has it as a sphere. I can't really use this. This is kind of like NURBS and Maya, the thing I tell you not to use because can't use it for anything. But yeah, so this primitive polygon makes it like a triangulated kind of. So if you up the samples on that, and all a triangle is a polygon cut in half. So yeah, we can see what this is doing if we do that. And then we have our polygon mesh, which is this. And I'm guessing mesh is like the same thing. It's so weird. Oh, it's this right here. That's the difference. So if I click on this mesh or polygon mesh, it altered this somehow. Anyway, I'll just click on revert default. Because yeah, here we go. Anyway, so that's how I'm manipulating the sphere. Now, as you can see, I'm inside of the sphere, right? And that's why we can see it. But if I go back up into this level, which is the level our containers are in, I can't see it unless I turn on the visibility. See, that's still there. But now check this out, right? Let's say I wanted to see both of these at the same time. I could see them both at the same time. This is one object and this is one object. As you can see, it's highlighting, right? But let's say I want them all in the same folder. Easy, right? I can turn off this. They can go in here. And I can add a sphere. I can type in sphere. Tab S-P-H-E-R-E. Boom. So now there's a sphere inside. If I click on it, you see what's happening. Now look, this is the box object, right? But there can be only be one node displayed, right? So if I have this here and this here, and I want to see both of these at the same time, when I go out here, instead of just one, I'm gonna have to merge them. So I right click and I type in, you can either right click, MERGE, or you can tab, MERGE. Both ways work. Both ways give you the same thing. So there's a picture of like a teacup and a plate. And it's basically saying, hey, this is a teacup, this is a plate. Let's see the teacup and the plate. So I would hook up one to this merge. It has this little wire right here. So I did that is I just left click. Oh, and now I'm gonna cut the wire. So I'm gonna hold down the letter Y and left click and cut. So I'm gonna show you two ways to add stuff, right? So I can select this, pull, or I can just like click right here on this little dot and put it to the merge. Now click right here, put it to dot, and now we have both things that we're seeing at the same time. And if I go out here, we have both. Now, if I was to move the container for whatever reason, see how it moves both at the same time, but you don't really want to move this. You just want to move whatever inside of here. And let's say I did want to move both of these. I could just right click, type in transform, click right here, put this here, and I'll click on this. So now I'm moving both of them at the same time because both of them are being merged and both of them are being moved. So it's kind of like, hey, it's like Garrett is right here, Natalie's right here. You all get inside of a car, and now the car is gonna move. If that makes sense. Also, check this out, right? Remember, we have let's move it a little bit just to do it, right? So move it over, right? Now we have a sphere here, an extra sphere that we had that was solo. Matter of fact, let's make it look like that or something. Right? So we have this sphere. We have this. Now we're seeing all three at the same time, but let's just say for whatever reason, I want this, I want to see this all within this box object right here. So I can like turn off my display. I can go inside and I can select this. I can do Control C. I can do Control X, doesn't matter. So I can do Control C, go in here, and then just do Control V. Now I can hook this up to this. And now let me click on this transform. Now look what, right? Now I'm seeing all three of these things in this box. I mean, in this folder. Right? So really this says box object, but it has like a sphere, a box, well, two spheres in a box, right? So it really just means that this is a container. Like I said, a folder. So I can name it, yes, we see three things in there. So let's name it three things. Three things, right? And the thing about it is, yeah, it's a geometry folder. And I think if let me see something, go to this, Arnold, render. Okay, so check this out. When I say it's a folder, oh, and let me move this to right here. And this is gonna move. And see what happened? This is its original position, but this is the new position that this has moved it to. And also, if I want to not see the influence of a node, so this transform right here, if I don't want to see what it's doing, I can just click on this little yellow flag. That means bypass. So it'll display everything coming together, but it just won't have a function. So if I click on this, it's basically like, oh, it doesn't exist. So we're bypassing this the movement of, -6. that it had. Didn't have to do that, just wanted to do it. So yeah. Oh yeah, so this is what I was going to show you. Those objects are in here, and when I say it's like a container, this is what I mean. Right now, it's displaying everything as geometry, as what it actually is, right? But if I click on this and I go to bounding box, look what it does, right? So this right here is basically what's called a bounding box. So everything within here is within this box. So if I go click inside, we'll see there's this, and we see the position of it. If I go out, it's all encapsulated, right? And that's because it's within the bounding box. If I move it over here, same thing. See how it moves? So when I say this is a folder, it's just basically like this is invisible, just showing everything. That's just important to know. That's why I keep on saying it, just to understand how the program works. So if I was to, well, let me go back in here. See, this is what happens. All right, now sometimes when you make a shape, so let me do Taurus. And let's look at Taurus. Let's look at how it works, right? So we have a radius 1 and a radius 2. Let's see. If I take this and I move it like this, it's moving the inner radius. And then there's this, which is the outer radius. Wait, do I have that right? I might have that backwards. I might have that backwards. But yeah, just mess with this. We can go to hoop earring to donut. Cool. Now if I take this and put it over here, click on this, we don't see it. Why? No, I should see that source. So let's click it right here. I'll click on this manipulator tool right here. Okay, it was just inside of there. Now, something else to note, there's something called a template flag, right? So that's this right here. It looks like a T sort of. Looks like a T square ruler sort of. But if I click right here, right? What this does is this gives me like the ghosted out version of an object, right? So this is the original position of this, of the torus. Remember, this is the transform that we made later. So let me just disable this, and I'll just click on this. I'll click on this right here. So now we can manipulate and move a torus. And I'm pressing W to toggle between wireframe, not wireframe. So I can go here and I can add all types of stuff to, oh, excuse me, to this torus. And it's all good, right? And let's just say for whatever reason, these things weren't merged. So so to cut these wires, you can do it a few ways. You can take your node and you can shake it and it'll shake it off. You can hold down the letter Y and you get these scissors right here and you can just cut. I like this. Here you look, cut. Well, anyway, so we can cut, or we can just select our wire and then press delete. So those are the ways that we can chop this thing up. All right. And all this right here is saying, okay, this is where it's moved. Now I can template a bunch of objects too. I can like select all of these and then click on this. So they all have a template showing the last position or the original position. And the cool thing about this program is whatever we do down the line, it all updates. So even though this thing is moved, if I go back into the Taurus and I want to make it bigger, it's going to become bigger. Yeah, so we can name stuff. Oh, and you also want to always put underscores. It'll do it automatically in this program, but just in case, you know, you label something, just try to keep it underscore. Anyway, there's that. Yeah, all right. So, you know, I might as well just build out one snowman real quick so you can kind of understand it, what I did. Even though I said I wasn't going to do it, I'll do it. But I still recorded 2 recordings, so if you get lost, you should be able to just get those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. Oh, you know, let's just do it like this. Since we have these right here, remember, I don't really care about these. So I'm going to make my own snowman node, right? Or container. So right click and I'll type in GEOM geometry. So if you look right here, this is the original name of the node. So geometry, this one says geometry, this one says geometry. So these are just preset things when you click on this that puts a cube in there or a sphere or whatever and then names it. But yeah, we're just doing it from scratch, right? So this is geo. I can go inside, I can right click, I can type in sphere. Woo, look at that. I have my sphere right there. Right now it's at the regular primitive level, so I can keep it for this. It doesn't really matter so much. I'm not like modeling it or need to like take any points or edges and do any stuff like that. But if you want to, you can change. You know what? I'll keep this one a regular sphere. Let me make the next one now. You know what I also do? I'll up the radius a little bit just because. And also, you know what? Here's a good thing. Let's go into our 4-way view. So for this, our 4-way view, we can access it in, well, I guess a different way. We would click over here to viewport layout, and we can go to 4 views, and then we can zoom out, just like we are in Maya or Cinema 4D. We can zoom out, and as you can see, here goes my shape. And if I move it up and down, as you can see, it's working like that. So I'm just going to push this and put it on the ground. Right now, if I want to go back to my perspective, I just click on single view, and now we're back. You can also do spacebar 2, which gives you the top. I think this is the top. Where's the thing? Oh yeah, top. Spacebar 3, which is the front. Spacebar 4, which is the right. Spacebar 5, which is UV. And spacebar 1, which is perspective. So we can also do that as well. All right. So we have this sphere right here. I want to make another sphere. I could do right click, SPHURE, and make another sphere. And that would be no problem. But I don't know. I kind of want to copy this sphere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this node, and there's 2 ways to do this. You can do Control C, Control V to make a second sphere. Or the way I like to do it, the best way, I think the fastest way, Alt with the thumb, left click, and drag. So we have this sphere and this sphere. So I'll take this sphere right here, and I'll pull it up. Wait, the thing is, I want to make a snowman, so I want to be able to see the other sphere on the bottom. So I'll do Control Z, and what I'll do is I'll template this. Well, I didn't have to do Control Z. I could just template it. So I'll template this one, which is our first sphere. And then we have this sphere right here, which is the one we're trying to make the middle. So let's pull it up and look at what happens, right? I can see the other one. Cool. Now, this one was at a scale of, I guess I scaled it up a little bit. So this one right here, let's scale it down because, you know, it needs to be smaller. So I'll just go in and I'll take my ladder. Those increments are moving way too slow. So let me just go up to this one. All right, cool. And now I'll take this and I'll push it right here. Now remember, to see both of them, I need to right click and type in merge. So I'll select both of these. Why? Well, if I want to see both of them shaded, I can just put them in here. And look what happened, right? I'll click on this. Now I'm seeing both of them shaded. Cool. That happened to me before. I wonder what I'm doing to make that happen. Yeah, so I have both of these. And it's always because it's Houdini, we can go back. If you, whatever reason you wanted to make this a Polygon Mesh, you know, you can make the middle one like that. Doesn't matter. So now we need to make the third one, right? So I'm gonna Alt left click and drag. Now make a sphere 3. I can have the template on, I can hook it up. Well, I'll just keep the template on right now. I'll pull it be right here. And I'll just go in and I'll take down this radius a little bit more. Got it right there. Let's take this, hook it up. Bang, all right. Now we already got our snowman body. Pretty cool. We just need a couple of other things, right? We need a nose, right? So to do that, I'll get myself a tube. And look at the orientation. It's gonna put it wherever I want, right? But I don't want that. I want it to be right in the center because it makes things easier. So I'll hold down Control, left click tube. Got the tube. Take it. Take it. Nice. Right? So now I'm gonna close the top and the bottom. Oh no. Look at what I did, right? So look, I was about to mess up. So I just made myself a whole new tube object right here, which is as tube by itself. We don't need to do that. So let me just hide this, or I'll just delete it. And I'll just go back into this one. And then I'll right click and I'll type in tube. So now.
Wait, did you hide it again?
What'd you say?
How did you hide it again?
Oh, I actually just deleted it.
Oh, okay.
So this one, because I just made it, I made it outside of the container, right? Because I want it to be inside. So I just selected it and I'll just delete it.
So, but you would hide it with like the blue flag, right?
If you want to hide it. Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wait, so you said you made it outside of the container?
Yeah, but I just deleted it because
Okay.
I wanted it to be inside. Because what I did was I just went here and I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna make myself a nose. And I did that. And then then I said to myself, wait a minute, I want it all to be inside this container. So I was just
Okay.
moving too fast. But that was good because I made a mistake. Well, not really a mistake, but you know,
Okay.
just not what I wanted to do. So
Okay.
I'm gonna select this, delete it, and I'm gonna make the tube inside of here. So I'll just,
Okay.
you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm making it inside of the container. So it's all together. So I'll right click and type in tube. And now the tube is inside of here. Right. So if I take this and let me use my little manipulator tools. See, sometimes you can click on that. I think this one doesn't work so well with the tube. I think that's what it is. So I'll just move it out. And let's just select it to see what it is. Right. So we have this right here. This is the tube. Um, right now it's hollow because end caps isn't on. So let's put on end caps. Also, and look, the template flag's on. That's why we can see that one. So let me just turn on the template flag on this so we can see all of them. So we have end caps right here. But of course, you know, the nose needs to be like pointy or whatever, and it's not going to be up and down. So we can go to orientation and go to x-axis. That's not the axis. Oh, it's Z. All right, cool. So I'll pull it up because remember, center is still pulling it up. And then we can go to the radius right here. So I'll go to this radius and I can make it wider or smaller. So let's make it a little bit smaller. And then For this one, I could make it wider, but really that's not what it is. It's the height. So I'll just take the height and I'll pull it like that. Cool. Now, right now, this nose is pretty large, right? It's large compared to the snowman. Now, I could go over here and try to like do all this stuff. See, look, I went backwards. That's why it's flashing red. And I could go over here and try to like be like, all right, I'm gonna make this small, and I'm gonna make this radius this small, so I can go in. No, I'm not gonna do that. Instead, because right now I like the shape. Like I like the pointiness on the nose. But I don't want to mess with the scale and all that here. So what I'll do is I'll right click, TRANSFORM, and I'll click on transform. And now I'll click on this. Now check this out. We have a pivot that's at the bottom, right? Right here. So this is our pivot. It started off in the center of the world. That's what the transform does. So there's two ways to handle this, right? If I want the pivot to be in the center of this, I can move the pivot by clicking on this right here. And these right here are like translates for the pivot. So I can just click on this and kind of like say, all right, I want this pivot. Because remember, this is why I can bring it up. And then I can go over here, put it like right there. So now this is in the center. And then I can go to my scale and I can scale it down. You know, I can do it like that, which is one way to do the pivot. And check this out, right? This right here is a transform, right? And we can see it's connected to this too. But I can also right click, transform, and I can connect this too, right? Now the thing with this is that so this is basically the transform. You can see the pivot. It's at the bottom, it's at the center of the world, just like it was before I manually moved the pivot with this, right? So with this one, instead of doing it like that, I'll just click on move centroid to origin, which just takes the object and then moves it to the center. So the centroid and all that are like right here together. And then I can just move it like this. Now, the beautiful thing about this program is this. I just experimented with this right here. And then I experimented with this right here. And if I want to, I could do it again. You know, I could go over here. I could just copy this one and then start, you know, messing with it some more. And now I have like 3 different options on which I can connect this to there. So let's, well, let me go back into this one. This one doesn't matter so much. And I'll take this and I'll put it to my object. Right. So I can take this now and pipe it into here. And then now it's together. So I can do it like that, or I can do this. Tab, null. I can make this thing called a null. So I just right clicked and went to null, click in here, and I can say body, right? So that can be my snowman body. And then I can go over here. I just alt left click and copy that. And I can name this, I don't know, nose. So this is my nose now, right? So instead of it being right here with the body, I'll press Y, cut this. So now I have body and I have a nose, right? Then I can just do merge. And then I can select these two. I can do it one by one and do this. Or I can select however many of them and then just connect it and it'll go through. So now I have control where I can say, okay, I have this. Here's my body. And then I have a my nose right here. Now, if I want to, I can right click, transform. And now I have this. So it means I can move the whole thing. And if I need to like make that nose sharper or something, I can just go in here and it'll all update. So that's the thing about Houdini. You can make something, and then if I want to, I can change something. So I can go here and I can say, you know what, I don't like this transfer for whatever reason. I don't like this. I can just go and take this and go to this one now. You know? So I can go back and forth and I can change it. And whatever is in the end is what matters, right? And then let's say I have this and I say, you know what, I don't want it to be up there. I can just bypass it. So now it's not even like being affected. So this node is like basically dead. And it says, all right, we're going to flow through and you're not even doing anything at all. And we're going straight to here. Oh yeah, now you're on, you know? So you have this. Cool. And then let's say the arms, right? So I'll right click and I'll type in box. Let's model it like this. Take this out. No, I can look at this and I can say, all right, I'm gonna move this in a little bit, move this in this way, move this in like that. I can have this, all right? And then I can say, all right, I want to duplicate this. So I'll put on a template right here. Oh no, actually, what I'll do is I'll put the template right here or right here. Wait, did I do anything here? See, I couldn't even tell if I like did anything. So I just put it on this node. And then I'll make another template, hold down control. No, you know what? I'll make this live and then I'll make this the template. All right. So I have this, control click. So now we have this, I'll hold down control and I'll template this box. So I just copied this box right here. And let me move it over here like this. Now pivot, right? I can press, I can select this. I can go to rotate, not that rotate. This, not that rotate. This rotate and kind of place it where I need to be. But I just want a little bend right there. So, oh yeah, I can't manipulate the pivot on the base object. So I will rotate it. So I'll just go over here and go like this. And then, you know, I could choose my little manipulator handle and raise it up. And I could say, all right, this is what my arm is. Let me get a little joint in there. So I could type in platonic object. And platonic object, I'm not even sure exactly. I just know that it can create a cube, a octahedron. I just wanted to choose something different. So let me put on my template for both of these, right? And then I'll take this. Let's bring it right here. Bring it right here. It's kind of large a little bit, so let's take it down. I think that's good right there. All right, cool. So we have our arm and we have our little elbow joint thing or whatever. So let's join them together. Right click, merge, select everything, pipe it into here. Now we have our arm. I'll go over here, get the template. You can see what it's doing. Cool. All right. So what I can do is I can go over here, go left click, and I just copy this, left click and drag. That's what I do because I'm lazy sometimes. I don't feel like tabbing and then typing in null. So I'll just make this arm. Arm left, right? Now let's pipe in arm left to this. Cool. Now let's go to this. Now look, we have our arm right there. Nice. Now I can go over here and I can do transform. Now remember, I can go over here and click on move centroid to origin and move it down there. Or I can just move the pivot to like where I want, which should be about right here, right? Because it would make sense for arm. So I'll just go to this pivot transform. Let's move it over right here. Perfect. So now this thing, if I press W, it can like move, you know, from a little pivot area. Just perfect. I can scale it down. So I can change all this stuff and it just works down the pipe. And just to see if we go into this right here, you know, I'm listening to some music, so it's kind of like boom, boom, boom. Makes sense on my end. All right, so this arm left, right? So let's say I want to have an arm on the other side. Now I could model another arm on the other side, but I'm not an animal, you know? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this, left click, drag it over here. And if I wanted to be pretty, you know, I could even like take these and move them over here. And I can just pipe this into this. It's a little bit twisted, but let's say if you don't want it to look like that, it doesn't matter in a case like this because these things don't need to be any order in particular. But if I press Y to cut all these, select all these nulls, and then drag it in, it all just like comes in order. Anyway, so this right here, if we want to copy this, what would be the best way to do this? I typed in -9, what happened? Nothing. So I'll just take this right here, pull it over here, and I'll just reverse it. So there you go, right? I've got this arm right here, which I can rotate and I can do whatever I want with. Oh, and speaking of that, let me just show you a little quick thing about animation real fast. So if I wanted to animate this, if I wanted to set a keyframe, I can either right click and go to keyframes and set keyframes, which is Alt left mouse button, or I can click on, does this work with this? No, it ain't working. Yeah, might as well just do it like that. So I'll go right here and I'll alt left click, just to log that position in. Go over to, I don't know, 15, and then take his arm, pull it back. I don't know, maybe go like this. Alt left click, alt left click. So first position, second position. And I'll go right here again. I'll go right here again. All right. Oh, and if we want to play this back in real time, we have to click on this little thing right here, real time toggle. So now, yeah, now we have a waving. If you ever want to get rid of these keyframes, you just click on this little thing right here, and then you right click, and then you go delete keys, and then it will delete it. But then whatever you do right here, it'll update. So if I wanted to change this like this or something, now that's the new position, you know. Anyway, just letting you know that's something you could do. So yeah, we have this right here. Now let's just say I want some eyes just because. I'll right click, Taurus, Taurus. And I will put it in the Z axis. Usually I always have to guess. I don't know which one's X or Z. And then I'll press T to move. I'll move this up, move this over here. You know what? Just because I'll go to spacebar 1, spacebar 2, so I can get to my front view. And I will mess with the uniform scale. One thing. Go like this. Pull this up top. Okay, so that was spacebar 2. I mean, I just did spacebar 2 for this, just so I can see it from the top a little bit. And then I'll even press R to rotate just to give it a little bit of rotation. Let's just do even 13, right? Cool. So this is our Taurus right here. And I'm going to template that, and I'll just go over here and make another one. Now, what should happen is I should just be able to go over here and put a negative and then make this a negative. No, not that one, negative. It should be negative 13 rotation. Bang, yep. Now spacebar 1, look at that. Now I'm going to right click, null. Right click, merge. Select these two, put in the merge. Eyes, selected here. And then I'll put this over here. So now we have this. Now we got the eyes. And we have it all here under this transform, which is banging. In my opinion, I think it's pretty cool. I'll just raise this up just for organization's sake. And also, you don't need to do this for this, but just to show you can do it. Some people do this. You can also select all these, shift, select these, right click and type in, oh, no. And we can change the color. So C, make them like black or something. I don't know. Some people do that just to find them easier. Make them whatever color you want. So anyway, so we have this right here. And now we have this snowman. They can do whatever. We can see the template. And if we don't want to see the template anymore, all we need to do is click it somewhere and then click it again and turn it off. Now we don't have templates on any other objects. And we have snowman. And then we can, if we want to, we can go into each one of these arms and manipulate it individually. Yeah, it's all easy. Yeah, and there goes the snowman. You can hook them up with some mohawk hair and have one of these that say hair, and it, it would all work and all pipe down. But the main thing to know is that whatever that you have, so right now, this is the output. So this is like, it's like addition. That's what it is. It's like adding. So if I take this, if I cut this, that whole thing goes away, right? Because it's not a part of, it doesn't merge and become part of the family, so to speak, right? So that's that. Yeah, and any one of these, if I template it, it disappears. That's that. And then if you really want to be organized, no, you can go over here and you can say out, no, snowman. All right, so check this out, right? Let's say I have this right here, and this is my and this is main snowman. And remember, you can press spaces, but it needs to have underscores. So check this out. This is main snowman. What? Let's say I want to make another snowman that's exactly like him. Basically the same thing. I can right click, type in geo. There's two things I can do, right? I can type in geo and I can take this whole network right here, control C, and I can go into geo and do control V and then move the transform. So now it's two different snow guys, right? So we have this one, and you can see them both highlighting, right? So that's one way. Or we can do this. We can delete that, tab, and go object merge, object merge. And we'll go over to this right here, and we'll click on this. And we can go inside of the folder of the main snowman. And remember, out snowman. Well, I spelled it all weird. This is the one that, this is the last null, right? So let me just show you what I meant. If I go here, this is the last one. So if I go here, I click on out snowman, whatever, into this object, right click, go to transform. Now this object's in here. Basically, this put this object that was made in here into this one. But it's, I mean, it is this, but it's like a copy of it. But it is the same thing at the same time. So basically you could do this. And if you wanted to, you could just take this, left click, transform, make another one. Now right click, merge. No. Now the nulls are just for organization, just to know what you're doing. So now, look what I did, right? So there's the main guy. And then this one right here is that snowman copied and moved. And now this is another one copied and moved. And if I really want to, I could just go like this again. And say this one is, I don't know, over here. And then this one over here. So now I have one snowman and I just copied all the rest of them over here. And that's basically how it works. It's folders looking for things in other folders. So that's the best way to think about Houdini.